Ow. What's up, everyone? Punchy back with Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 4, Himatsubushi. If you guys are wondering, where is the Walking Dead video, man? My computer is... it's like running slow or something. I don't know what's going on, but Walking Dead really is lagging, so... I spent most of my time last night trying to get it to work right, when in reality, I mean, I had no idea how to fix it, so I didn't really know what I was doing, which is unfortunate. But we're back with Higurashi today. Hopefully I can get Walking Dead up and running soon, by the way. But we're in Higurashi. We were being shown around by Ooishi. Last time, it was his first time going into Hinazawa, so Ooishi was showing him around. They actually got stopped by protesters of the dam. And people are like, hey, stop car. And Ooishi's like, oh, hey guys, it's me. And the protesters are like, oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead. It was you, Ooishi. Both sides acting up and everything, but Ooishi is showing us around, and let's see what's gonna happen. Ooishi started up the engine once again and began to move the car. If you'd just been honest with me, I thought I might have been able to help you. Right, also last time, he was trying to get information out of us that we seem to think that he already knows because of, me personally, because of, you know, like the kind of person Ooishi, very good guesses. How would you help? If the cat was out of the bag, I might as well use it to catch some mice. Well, this depends on what we're talking about, but I might be able to set you up with someone who is knowledgeable about the goings-on in Hinazawa. An informant? No. I see. Is that what you call it? Why are you interested in my case, Ooishi-san? Well, I'm the same as you. Isn't it our business to know things? Being able to meet with Ooishi's informant was an extremely compelling opportunity. We were looking to recruit somebody familiar with the area to collab for intelligence. In the end, there was no better method for finding people than asking. We were always taught, however, that the rank-and-file police were no better than monkeys. Unlike us, they were careless with confidential cases. We looked on them like they'd run their mouth off in a drunken stupor. Ooishi was an outlaw, even amongst them. And here I was, lost on whether or not I should tell him about the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. This informant, exactly how knowledgeable are they about the Onagafuchi Defense Alliance? If you're from public safety, you'd know, wouldn't you? Something like that is something I can't just tell you. Protect your sources. That was the first principle of dealing with confidential information. In that regard, it seemed that Ooishi wasn't one of the monkeys. Should I trust him, ask him for help, or not? It's just that you work for the feds, and I work for the prefecture. I don't think that our jobs are that different. I think I can be of help. However, I had trouble believing this crafty old man would simply help me, just like he claimed. Good instinct. I find it hard to believe that someone of your standing would help me without strings attached. No. Well, it's not like I'm completely without an ulterior motive. As I recall, you guys have space in your budget allocated to pay informants, right? Something you don't need a receipt for. Just a little bit of that would be the cost of meeting with the informant. In other words, give the compensation earmarked for the informant to you first? Well, it helps that the details of this deal are so clear-cut. He was certainly something else for being able to brazenly state his ulterior motive like this, rather than him doing this out of kindness of his heart. Everything was a lot clearer if he were being compensated for this deal. I felt that he was the type of man who was good at these backroom dealings. Yep, that's the Ooishi style, alright. Don't misunderstand me, please. It's not me who needs the money, it's the informant, okay? Well, in regard to the payment, I'll be handling the money. No. When do you want it? Right now would be good. If you don't have it on you, tomorrow works as well. I pulled out a wallet that was different from my personal one. The price is pretty much fixed depending on what kind of informant I was paying for. In this case, the payment was upfront. Also considering the fact I didn't know what kind of info I would get into too much. When I suggested that, Ooishi suddenly stretched out his hand and tightly grasped the contents of the wallet. Oh, come on, rookie. Can't let him do that. At times like this, I think it's best you not be so stingy. It's alright. It won't go to waste. I understand. I won't be stingy. And? What information are you looking for? Depending on what you know, and how we approach this will probably change. You swear you won't spread this information to anybody else? Ooishi-san? I can't swear as much. I'm the same as you. I can't withhold information obtained during the course of my duties. I got it, I swear. Nothing here gets said anywhere else. On top of that, I paid back what I owe from the mahjong debts. In any case, I won't break a promise that involves money. No. This guy. I was still unsure if I should trust him until the very last moment, but in the end I broke down. Ooishi wasn't the type of guy I could trust 100%. There was no mistaking he had access to underground information networks. In order to accomplish my mission swiftly, I needed his cooperation. I set my resolve. I'm investigating whether or not the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance is related to a certain incident. Certain incident? There's a possibility that the Minister of Construction, Inugai, is being coerced by someone. Saying there's a possibility is kind of a roundabout way of putting it. It appears as a mole close to the minister. And due to that mole, the minister had been monitored quite thoroughly and was seemingly forced to cede to their threats right away. None of this was reported to us or the police. I see. So that's why you're saying there's only a possibility he's being coerced. In that case, isn't it a little strange? If the minister didn't report, how did you guys know about this incident? If we didn't spy on the minister's private life, we would have never found out. I don't think we have to provide that explanation to the informant, so I'm omitting it. Ooishi had apparently caught on, and quietly chuckled when I refused to explain. I see. There's a spy close to the minister, so public safety made it a highly classified investigation. That certainly isn't a very amicable story, is it? If this matter became public, not only would this affect the minister's political career, but the possibility of there being a shift in the political landscape is extremely high. If the perpetrator's aim is indeed that, then it's developed into a very grave situation. Well, with the government having development projects all over the country with quite a few people, it wouldn't take much wrongdoing for the left-wing parties to suddenly garner more support. We're currently investigating what demands are being forced on the minister, but at least we have a good idea of how he's being threatened. How? The minister's grandson was kidnapped. But judging from what he has last seen, it's believed it's already been over 72 hours since the kidnapping. So 3 days. If they were just after ransom money, this would have been settled by now. It may be that this isn't for monetary gain. The possibility that they're forcing the minister to do something politically is extremely high. That's something we just can't consent to. So then, the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance was listed as one of the possible perpetrators. That's correct. Kidnap the minister's grandson and demand the cancellation of the dam project. What do you think, Ooishi-san? From your point of view, do you think that's possible? Ooishi seemed to ponder the idea for a while. The section chief at the regional office had responded immediately with, "It's possible." However, Ooishi, who was as well informed about the just a little bit, he said something that was really just a little bit strange. This was before the Meiji era, you see. This area wasn't named Hinmazawa Village. Back then, it was called Onigafuchi. This is for my grandmother. This topic was so completely and suddenly unrelated to the subject of the kidnapping of the minister's grandson that I was slightly taken aback. Onigafuchi? Oh, so that's why they're called the Onigafuchi Defense Alliance. You see, the village of Onigafuchi was said to be inhabited by demons that devoured. Even now, it's believed that the blood of the demons that devour humans? Oh, Ooishi-san, what are you saying? It's information. I got a lot from you just now. A little too much. In exchange, I'm giving you a little freebie. Ooishi finally smiled, but it didn't seem like he was fooling around. Please continue. You see, these human-devouring demons, normally, they were revered as Taoist transcendents and lived tucked away from the rest of the world. But they ate people, after all, so apparently they'd go to the village in the foothills regularly and abduct their prey. They used to call that being demoned away, or onikakushi, in Chapter 1. Demoned away. It was the first time I heard such a peculiar phrase. However, I felt something slightly ominous from this horrifying tale of demons abducting people in order to eat them. Look, you know how there's this common phrase, spirited away? When people suddenly go missing, one day, they call it that. When the same thing happens around here, they call it. How does that old tale relate to the matter at hand? Oh no, there's no direct relationship. I'm just some small talk here. It's just... Ka-thump, ka-thump. The car shook. At some point, the gravel road had changed to a paved one. I forgot we were actually driving. It's just what? That around here, the phrase demoned away is somewhat of a code for disappearance. I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if this has anything to do with the kidnapping of the minister's grandson. Well, there's no deep meaning behind it. It's just, there's a little bit of history. Oh, that little bit of history, sorry. Onikakushi, human-eating demons coming down from the foothills and abducting their... Then, in order to cancel the dam project that threatened to submerge the village they lived in, did they demon away the minister's grandson? Then, had they already made an example out of the minister's grandson and eaten him alive? It's a bit of an interesting old tale, isn't it? I don't know who I'm reading now. If you set foot into the demon's village without reason, you'll promptly be captured and eaten alive. So don't Fuchi. Kids these days wouldn't have these superstitions, would they? Even amongst the older folk in Okinomiya, born in the Meiji era, there's quite a few who wouldn't heed these warnings. Hinamizawa village was feared by the people in the area. I've recalled that piece of information I heard from the Prefectural Public Safety Division. In any case, we're in the boonies out here. It's kind of expected that there'd be some superstitions around. Oh, okay, that was Ooishi. Somebody from probably didn't even begin to imagine, could you? The man-eating demons, as the price for violating the sanctity of their whole village, kidnapped the minister's grandson. Him whole. That ludicrous idea flew through my head. It was so absurd. I was half disgusted with myself. Ooishi was just teasing me. Stupid. It was all really so stupid. To think of it, by then, I may have already been seized by the curse of that dubious village. For me to realize that time. Chapter end. So Akasaka is learning about Hinamizawa, and now that he's traded information, he knows a little bit about the deep and bad history. Oh, all the tips. First one is phone call with his wife. I think giving birth? Oh, that must have been us. We look like a photographer man. Just with a face mask. Oh, tough when it's such a sudden assignment. Please be careful. Where are you? Whenever I headed out on assignment, she would ask where. Not just Yuki, but anybody would have asked the same question. If it was a cold place, she would urge me to pack a thick jacket. If it was far, she'd warn me to be careful on the drive over. It was just normal everyday concern that led to asking such an obvious thing. I felt sad that I couldn't answer such a run-of-the-mill question. Sorry, it's something that you can't talk about, isn't it? Please be careful. Sorry, Yuki. At some point, such a sudden change in the background music. At some point, he started apologizing right away. Even though when you first started your job, you were all gung-ho about it. Yuki laughed as she had realized something. At times like this, Yuki had the magical power to see right through. It's already been quite a while since I was admitted to the hospital. Are you finally getting lonely? Don't tease me. I'm too old to get lonely. Hee. Oh really? You actually like to be doted on, don't you? You start getting a little faint of heart when I'm not around. Hee. Aw, jeez. I can see the little devil horn sprouting from your head right now. Oh, so refreshing. This loving exchange after the demon talk with Ooishi. You've always been like this. You can't hide it. You can't hide it. If I don't play with you, I can hear your tail wagging over the phone. Hee. This side of Yuki wasn't something you could guess existed from seeing her usual modest behavior, and it was something that she didn't show to anybody else but me. Normally, I'd poke her to hide my embarrassment and bring an end to the conversation, but I couldn't do that over the phone. Of course, Yuki was clever. She was to me because of that. Hee. I wonder when I figured out that giving you grief was this much fun. Give me a break. In any case, it's good to hear you so lively. I know, right? Did I cheer you up? I called Yuki to keep her from feeling lonely when she was by herself in the hospital room. Of course, that was something more than a pretense that I, being shy, had come up with. It seemed that Yuki had long since seen through the act. Yeah. Please phone again. I'll get my father to talk with you. Although, if you're talking with my father, that you'd be standing at attention on the other side of the line. Hee. For a little while longer, Yuki kept teasing me without letting me end the call. Oh, that was adorable. Alright. If you guys can see it, like, now it's going, but I was over here, and it like lagged over, so that's like my whole computer's going through that. I don't know what's happening, and it's really, really noticeable in what so. But a record of opening remarks. Chairman, members of the party, congratulations are due, as we are 25 years since our founding. These past 25 years have seen so much growth in Prefecture. The once quiet scenery of nothing but fields now has seen the opening of a new stop for the bullet train. And with the development of the highway, we've seen the rebirth of a modern energy. We've reaped the benefits of new businesses and industry. And with the special reverence to the residents of Prefecture having for time-honored traditions, history and culture, business and industry, with these ideals in harmony, they have accomplished in growing their city into one of Japan's foremost metropolises. Of course, the development of Prefecture couldn't have happened without the growth of the party. We are resolved to see every one of our campaign promises to fruition, reaching our target definitely and expediently, like arrows fired from a bow. With these arrows as the fundamental basis of the party, our members have sought to pierce the obstructions preventing the happiness of the residents of Prefecture. But I do believe that everybody here is unlike an ordinary arrow. While being as unfaltered and straightforward, we have not neglected in seeking solutions that conform to the current day and age, while also keeping an eye on the future. An arrow, once loosened, can only fly to its destination. Everyone, however, is no simple arrow. Everyone, even once loosed from the bow, without neglecting our studies, while employing new methods and implementing more effective and flexible ideas, thus being able to change trajectories mid-flight, we are magical. The modern age marches ever forward. Sometimes it marches faster than the time taken from planning to execution. The following part was not in the script. It is thought to have been ad-libbed by the minister. For example, there have recently been numerous problems with the Higurashi project. Rather than forcing through the project solely because it was decided upon by the government, it is necessary to reflect on and adjust to the ever-changing needs of the region and the next generation. The protests by the local residents that surround the Higurashi Dam. These are also the will of the people of Prefecture. If you feel that there is no need to listen because the project has already been finalized, then you do nothing more than shed a poor light on Japan's post-war democracy. The following is as per the script. For the last happiness of the citizens of Japan and the residents of the Prefecture, please consider these policies thoroughly. I believe we've all gained something from the flexibility and the foresight of the party. I've taken up much of your time. However, allow me to say the following to celebrate the 25th anniversary of our founding. Chairman, members of the party in attendance, thank you very much for today. From the opening remarks of the Party Prefectural Forum and 25th anniversary celebration. So we got words from the minister. And now we have interesting gears and fire and the taste of honey. The word is relationships. Of course, that doesn't mean that everyone is connected to each other. It's obvious that on the other side of the planet, there are people laughing and crying who can't possibly have an effect on you. However, in the extremely limited community of the neighborhood, that sort of connection is just a matter. Quite possible that a single remarkable event could have a massive consequence inside a small community. If you were to increase that in scale, a perfect stranger on the other side of the globe might become enough of a effect on our lives. Well, it's not always that way. Like I said at the beginning, the links between people basically aren't that relevant in the grand scheme of things. Whether some household is having a steak or croquettes doesn't matter to me. When I put my shoes on, it doesn't matter to anybody whether I put the right one first or the left. This much the average person can understand. But actually, in reality, this is the truth. The bonds of people are quite well defined. It's not just a matter of distance, of being far or near. For example, let's say that person A's actions have some effect on me. Even then, person B's actions could have absolutely no consequence on my life. The reverse also holds true. Just because my actions affect person A, that doesn't mean that they affect person B as well. Let's put it bluntly. If the bonds between people are like gears in a machine, the gear that represents me meshes with some people but is isolated from others. There are some who have tried arguing against this. Those people would bring up the example of gears in a clock. Each gear indeed only directly meshes with one or two others. However, if you rotate one gear, the one next to it is moved, which connects to the next one and the next. In the end, all the gears are moving. There's a logic behind this, more than enough to convince the average person. Why is the argument convincing? The answer is simple. The relationship between people are ambiguous. However, how the gears are connected and how they are moved can't be used as a fundamental explanation. Put blanket on that argument. So for the people who like that explanation, I'll use the example of a clock again to refute it. First of all, to say that this world is a that is, there isn't only one clock. There exist many clocks in this world, each counting in their own time. One big clock is the height of arrogance. Even if you use the analogy of gears to explain human relationships, then you should be able to explain it using an analogy of multiple clocks, unrelated to a single gear. Neighbors A and B? A is the gear in the same clock as me, to remain civil. B is a gear in a different clock, so he doesn't really matter to me at all. That's the kind of clear distinction I'm talking about. You want to say I'm being fallacious? Then let's change the analogy to something more familiar so you can understand. You've probably heard the phrase, a fire on the opposite shore, sometimes in your life. No? Oh, sometime in your life. It's not part of the phrase. For example, if your neighbor was on fire, you'd probably try and help put it out, wouldn't you? It'd be awful if the fire spread and burned down your own house, after all. What if the fire was in a town on the opposite side of the river? Would you still go out of your way to help? You wouldn't, would you? Even though it would be the wrong thing to do, there's no way the fire could spread to your house. Even if it turned into a huge conflagration, there's no relation between the houses that will spread fire to yours and those that won't. With this basic example, you should be able to see the difference between gears that are or aren't related to your own. Having said that, there's still a lot to think about, even without a river to divide it. After all, it's not a spatial problem like being on the other side of the river, is it? Interesting. I've never really, I've kind of know the butterfly effect, where things in time can really change. I never heard anything about that one. Oh, I didn't even see the name of this tip. But to the last one, the cart stopped, but he didn't know any more than that. For not only was he blindfolded, but locked in the trunk of the car. How could he possibly become this powerless just by being robbed of sight? Oh, how could people and of their sight. He absolutely wouldn't have known this without experiencing it firsthand. He realized it was pointless to try and undo his bonds, with the confines of the trunk quickly making him lightheaded. He had no choice but to let this mild torture dull his senses. That's why, when the car stopped, the unpleasant vibration ceased as the engine was killed. He couldn't help but delude himself that he was being free, even though nothing had been resolved in reality. Of course, he was soon removed from that delusion. He strained his ears when he heard one of the men who had abducted him, and an older man who he was hearing for the first time, struck up a conversation. "Nice to see you. The chick is in the trunk." He struggled some. The chick? Oh, maybe he's talking about maybe this is the boy. The little boy who was kidnapped. He struggled so much that he's probably exhausted right now, but there's not a mark on him, just as ordered. Oh, must have been a handful. Who's this guy? The trunk opened, letting in a blast of fresh, cool air. Even though, until just now, he had been thinking about getting out of that stuffy trunk, when it actually opened, he suddenly became uneasy. Enough so that he wished the little trunk would once again close, separating himself from them. Suddenly, somebody stroked his head. Of course, since he was blindfolded, he couldn't tell if the hand was evaluating how easy it would be to remove his scalp. Unable to tell the difference, he could only freeze as he imagined the worst-case scenario. Poor little bugger. He's shaking. Just stay calm for a bit. I don't know what kind of voice I'm trying to do. The older man said that kindly as he gently stroked the boy's head. "This must have been real tough for you. But you see, your Gramps is a nice man. He'll help you soon enough." Oh, jeez. Having heard nothing but the average standard dialect his whole life, this older man's distinct intonation left a deep impression on the boy. But he had no idea what he was saying. For your Gramps to register as meaning your grandfather. Eventually, the hand that was stroking his head loosened the blindfold. Can't keep his eyes covered. If he splits his face open, it'd be bad. Oh, no. And with that, we might as well take out the gag. He can't breathe like that. It'll be trouble if he yells. Leave him to us. Jeez, you guys don't know how to treat somebody. The main family said no rough stuff. You better remember that well. Okay, so I'm assuming it's like just a different dialect, and this is how they portray it, which is interesting. Yeah, we won't do anything stupid, as long as the kid cooperates. The man's head prodded roughly and repeatedly at the boy's head. A rugged hand. Just stay cooperative. If you struggle, there's no what will happen. That cliched threat was literally beaten into his head. Do we see who the man was? Oh, no, we don't. Alright, we're a little over time, but that's okay. Especially since I couldn't have a video yesterday. I really need to figure out what's on with my computer, because if not, then I honestly probably wouldn't be able to upload that much, other than Higurashi, which is, static. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you're having a good one. See you next time. Bye-bye.